Hello and thank you for joining us on the midweek edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the program, Southern governors ban open grazing, call for national CONFAB to tackle insecurity, and later on the show, Diseases Center alert NCDC that India COVID-19 strain has surfaced in Nigeria. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Mayor Akipelu. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. The menace of herders and farmers' clashes fueled by open grazing is proving tough not to crack for Nigeria. The Forum of Southern Governors have decided to take the bull by the horns by putting a ban on open grazing in all the 17 southern states. At a meeting in Asaba, Delta states, attended by 13 out of the 17 governors, they stressed that the population growth has put pressure on the available land to make open grazing unsustainable. The governors also called on President Muhammadu Buhari to address Nigerians on the worsening state of insecurity across the country. Let's share the story with you.
17 states make up the southern part of Nigeria, and they have all had a fair share of the rising insecurity confronting the nation. As they arrive for this crucial meeting in Asaba, their concern for the worsening state of insecurity in the states and the country at large is not in doubt. Only 2 of the 17 state governors were absent, and 2 others were represented by their deputies. After pleasantries, it is time for serious business as they went into a closed-door session. After about 3 hours, the governors emerged with a communique read by the forum's chairman on what they want the federal government to do to end the plethora of challenges bedeviling the country.
The federal government should convoke a national dialogue as a matter of urgency. The meeting resolved that open grazing of cattle be banned across southern Nigeria.
Nothing was off the table as governors expressed their commitment to the unity of Nigeria, where everyone matters.
The meeting agreed that the progress of the nation requires an urgent and bold step be taken to restructure the Nigerian Federation, leading to the evolution of state police, review of revenue formula in favor of subnationals, and creation of other institutions which legitimately advance our commitment to and practice of true federalism.
At the end, they left as they came, but with renewed hope of presenting a united front despite party difference.
After coming up with these resolutions, after the about 3 hours closed-door meetings, the governors hope that the federal government will heed to these their demands for the unity and peace of this country. Ikenna Amechi, CVC News, Asaba.
Well, actually, this is the first time we are going to have this kind of meeting, at least in this dispensation that I know of. Normally, we have the Northern Governors Forum meeting, and they have the chairman, but often we hear of Southeastern Governors meeting, Southern Governors meeting, North and Southwest Governors meeting. But for the first time, the whole of the South, that's Southwest, South, and Southeast, coming together under one umbrella, and the meeting for the first time, and the decision reached at this crucial meeting is now being met with mixed reaction. Okay, let me go to number 1, restructuring. Because this has been something that a lot of people feel that this administration has been avoiding somehow, to formally sit down and dialogue for the formal restructuring.
Yeah, first we have to commend the governors. They'll come together. It's not the first time Southern governors are meeting, but this is the first time that they will meet and have a whole lot of issues surrounding our nation, issues critical, the resolution of which one can say is critical to the continued existence of our country. For the first time, it came up in the course of their meetings. It's significant that they looked at all of those issues, and no one can say the issues that they deliberated upon are not the most fundamental and the most critical of the problems plaguing our nation at this time. So kudos to them that they had to come up, they had to meet and brought up those issues. And for me, the most significant thing is the fact that this is bipartisan. It's not a question of, we are APC governors, we do not agree with some of your suggestions. Everyone is thinking as a Nigerian now, and how do we solve the problem? We can no longer deny that we have issues that need to be addressed. Security has been the biggest problem confronting our nation in almost 3 years now. So we've got to address those problems, and you can see that security is crucial to, when you look at the issues that they deliberated upon, security occupied a central position. So they are saying, look, let's have restructuring. Under restructuring, we are talking about the need for state police, the need for to look at the current revenue allocation formula so that states can get a lot more than they are getting now and be able to address their problems. The issue of state police, of course, is something also that Nigerians want to see some form of resolution, because it is clear at this time that the federal policing structure has failed. It can no longer solve security problems, and we do not even have enough of them. We don't have enough soldiers, we don't have enough policemen, we don't have enough civil defense operatives. So it has reached a point now that we must find alternative means. And I dare say that if Amotekun can live up to his full potential, because for now he's not living up to his full potential, because not all the governors are not equally committed to the Amotekun project. But we've seen Amotekun work with the police in some states, and some results are coming. If only Amotekun, for example, can be permitted to carry firearms, good offensive firearms, honestly, it will go a long way in helping us to solve some of the problems that we face. Look at last week in Oyo State. Amotekun and the police collaborated to arrest some headsmen who were even who created illegal checkpoints. It is on those checkpoints that they kidnap people and then take people into the bush. So now we are seeing a kind of synergy in Oyo State between the police and Amotekun, and that's the way to go. So restructuring, which is one of the crucial issues that they came up with, is for me very significant.
Major, like we see the northern counterparts led by Jonah Jank meeting off from in this dispensation. I think this is about the first time I'm seeing this kind of thing in this dispensation, that they don't even have a chairman like the.
Yeah, they don't have a chairman now.
They had Southwest.
Just an ad hoc.
That was this thing. So what we're looking at here is that they are trying to meet people, and people coming together and saying that, look, this is very urgent and this is like an emergency. As Jide said, that it is bipartisan.
I agree absolutely, because our country is moving towards anarchy, and it is important for our leaders to realize that problem, and for the southern governors to come together. They realize that we cannot allow things to continue like this. Our country seems to have a lot of problems, and in solving that problems, everybody have to first identify that we have problems and then come together to say this is how we think we can resolve it. One of the things that they've done is to say, okay, they've called on the president to do certain things. They've also decided that they're going to meet with members of the National Assembly in their respective states and meet with them, because some of the things they wanted, you can only do that through law, through constitutional amendment in the National Assembly, like the state police state. So, but you see, the restructuring, it has become a song and dance in our political lexicon. People just, the APC gave us impression, it was one of the cornerstones of their campaign when they were coming to power, that they were going to restructure. 6 years after, they've not done anything about that. But it is obvious that if we don't restructure, we cannot move from where we are right now, because the Constitution made a lot of mistakes, or maybe some decisions were taken that are no longer in our best interest to continue to pursue those things. One is that the federal government, the revenue allocation formula has to change. There's too much. Especially states do not have enough. A lot of states are not even solvent. A lot of states do not have enough resources to do a lot of things for their people. Apart from the current, they don't have enough resources to be able to do that. So we have to do something about the revenue formula. We have to do something about the police. The police as a federal institution cannot work. They are not in a position to solve the security challenges that we have in Nigeria right now. So, but unfortunately, the Constitution is very clear about it. There can only be one police force, and it's controlled by the federal government. So we have to do something about that so that we can have state police. Because I've always said that, I've always believed that the Nigerian police, as presently constituted, cannot solve that problem. No matter how brilliant they are, no matter the funds we put in, no matter their good intentions, every crime is local. And because every crime is local, it's always important for your police force to put that into consideration. If Lagos State have its own police force, you understand, and maybe there are some security agencies that are also answerable to the local government, you'll be able to fight crime more in that state. Because not only that they know the terrain, they know those who live in each neighborhood. So it will be difficult, because when you want to commit crime, you must have a base. You must have a contact. You must have support logistics from a particular area where you want to operate from. So if you have security agencies that are conversant and they are from that particular area, it will be easier for them to fight that crime. In other words, if you have a state police, for example, and the DPO of Ikorodu, for example, is from Ikorodu, you understand? He will be in a better position to solve a lot of crimes in Ikorodu, because he knows those to see, he knows the bad boys where they are, he knows, you understand what I'm saying? So every crime is local. So the issue of state police is very important, because one of the biggest challenges that we have now is security. You understand? One of the biggest challenges we have is security. And they've told, and another thing that they suggested, which we have to put into consideration, is that the president should talk to the people. One of the problems that we have with this administration is that they don't engage the people. You understand? If there is a problem, and you as Mr. President comes out and tell the people what you are doing, how you want to change the security architecture, and that you feel their pain, it will give people confidence. To give confidence.
Not a style.
No, there's something like style, because you see, you must be able to, because if you are the president of a country, and we have the kind of security challenges that we have now, it is important for you to engage. That's why one of the things that they said was that the president should address the nation on the issue of security, because the issue of security is becoming embarrassing in Nigeria. Because I read the story the other time, and they said, okay, that the robbers went to Villa. That shows okay, things have gone really bad.
But let's look at the appointment they are talking about, that they should review of appointment into security agencies. And this is a very sensitive one that people from the southern part of the country, they've had to cite instances and everything. And this is now something that is even threatening, the principle of federal character.
It's even threatening the unity of our nation. And I think it has reached a point now that those appointments can no longer be defended. I've seen people say, oh, Obasanjo during his time, he also used only IGs from the South. Jonathan did this, Jonathan did that. When we are talking about things that are not good, people should stop using the negative examples from the past. It is not decent behavior to look at the negative things that an administration that a former administration did, for which it was criticized, to now use that to justify such things being done. No. If Goodluck Jonathan, for example, was a top-notch president, he did everything right, there will have been no need for President Buhari to replace him. So if he did some things that were wrong, for which people complained, if we now see the president doing those things, it makes no sense to be saying that, after Jonathan also did it. That's not, it makes no sense.
To correct the mistake
yes. So can we justify if there was a Dezani who was taking money, or misappropriating money during Jonathan's era through his cronies and all that? If that was the case, should we now permit someone from this administration to do the same thing? Just in the desire to win an argument to say, after all, the former administration did it. Even Keyamo was referring to channels that was logged during the Yaradua era when they reported that the president had died. So because it was done that time, then it should happen. And even at the time when they were making the argument, the NBC had not said it was going to shut down the TV station. But you were already looking for an example in the past to justify what people felt was wrong. You can come up with sanctions, but not to say, somebody did it in the past, therefore it is an alibi. It cannot be an alibi. So these appointments are lopsided. You remember that the Senate complained about it last week, 2 weeks ago, that look, there is federal character. Once we have federal character, we must respect federal character, or we expunge it from our constitution. If as long as it's there in the constitution that it shall be obeyed, then we should obey it. If we don't want to obey it, then let's amend the constitution and know that federal character no longer exists. Now, for these governors, some of the appointments, you could say some appointments are skewed on the side of religion, some on the side of ethnicity. But we have governors who are Christian, governors who are Muslim, governors who are APC, governors who are PDP coming together to say, let us, because it's heating up the polity. It's heating up the polity and encouraging people to come up with all kinds of divisive groups that, we cannot enjoy our country, therefore let's have a new country out of Nigeria. These governors have addressed some of the issues leading to all these mushroom groups, self-determination groups and all that. We believe in Nigeria, we want to remain here. But certain things have to be done to make everyone feel that indeed we belong to this country. And I can tell you that even a lot of my friends, I am from the north. Nobody is more northern than me. Even if you want to appropriate northernness, I will not allow you to appropriate it. I am also a northerner. Yes, and I was born there, born and raised in the north, went to school in the north. I speak the language. So you are not more northern than me. Don't even bring that one. Now, some of my own friends are saying that even they are embarrassed. That this is not how we are. They are embarrassed by the fact that this thing appears to favor them, but they would want more people from the other side to also, balance. This is what the governors are saying.
Security architecture.
This is the point that these governors are making, and kudos to them that they can say this thing. Yes, kudos to them. And they had this kind of meeting, thinking strictly about Nigeria, not
APC,
about their
not
party,
PDP.
not about what's going on in their states, just about our country and how we can remain an indivisible unit.
I have Olawale. Olawale is calling us from Ikorodu. Thank you for joining us, Wale.
Yeah, good evening, Ayo.
Good evening, Wale.
Yeah, good evening, my encyclopedia.
I agree with you, sir.
And the other brilliant gentleman there on the right.
Thank you.
Yes, I am so happy, I'm so elated that the southern governors have woken up from their slumber to be meeting and speak with one voice. If you recollect, northern governors regularly meet and speak with one voice.
Yes.
This is what we want. But we have so divided ourselves in the south that we don't meet. I'm so happy that we are meeting now. And those things they are demanding from the government to do, they should do it. If you want an early end to this insecurity, let us have state police. Let there be clause that the state police cannot be misused. We have state police, metropolitan police, and county police in other crimes. We can have it here. Then secondly, let the federal government get some of its loads and give the state. And finally, if you check all the parastatals in Nigeria, especially the ones that are powerful and that can influence the destiny of Nigeria, they are aided by Northerners. God bless you.
Thank you, Wale. Now, if you look at this, what they addressed in this communique, in their meeting, you will discover that sometimes, if the northern counterparts, if they are there, this might not be the recommendation, because this is what the southern governors feel that look like banning of open grazing now.
Yes, because we have to be realistic. Things when you as leaders meet, you discuss what affects you as leaders in your geopolitical zone. You understand? So open grazing does not affect a northern governor. Though the governor of Ganduje,
is doing something different.
Some of the other governors also agree. Yes. But some of them is saying, okay, that is not in their own interest. You understand? But when you look at the issue of nepotism, because one of the problems of this government, and this government does not seem to care, because you see sometimes you can take some decisions and make some appointments, and people will complain and say no, this thing is skewed to one part of the country, and every time the president keep making those appointments and they don't care what people think. It is important for the governors to be able to tell the president to say that, one, we have to acknowledge the differences in the makeup of the Nigerian state. You understand? Those who wrote our constitution, no matter how defective it may be, they acknowledge the fact that Nigeria has a lot of nationalities, and it's important to carry everybody along. Yes, if we want to have a unified country. Ignoring that means that there will be problems, and that is what is happening, because you will notice now that the agitation for self-determination is basically more in the south, because different ethnic groups in the south now believe that the Nigerian state is not favorable to them. Yes, shortchanging them. They are everything is just for the northerners. We shouldn't be.
We are not stakeholders in this.
We are not stakeholders in the Nigerian project. So the governors have to come together and face the reality that this appointment, because this is not the first time people will make that complaint. This is not how people will criticize such appointment. But time and time again, the presidency keep appointing people from one section of the country. Majority of the appointment goes towards the one section of the country, which is not good for the polity. Because if you look at Nigeria, as sensitive as the Nigerian state is, if you ignore some large sections of the Nigerian state, there is no way you can have peace.
All right, we'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back. You are right on time. This is Journalist Hangout, and I still have Mayor Akipelu and Babajide Otitoju in the house, and we are looking at the meeting of the Southern Governors Forum yesterday. Jide, we were talking about this open grazing,
Yes.
and the controversy around it.
I think that many northern governors are opposed to open grazing. Open grazing is antiquated, is not modern in any way, and I think even the headsmen themselves should change themselves through open grazing. Look at a governor like Otom. He came out with a law criminalizing open grazing. The governor of Taraba too came out with a law. Darius Dixon Ishaku. He came out with a law back then criminalizing open grazing. Because in the north, it has been the source of friction between farmers and herdsmen for years. Now look at the governor of Kano State. He's a Fulani man. You can't be more Fulani than Ganduje. In fact, he did not know how to speak Hausa until he had been in primary school for years. That's when he began to speak Hausa. So that's to tell you that he's a Fulani man through and through. And he too, he had cows that he had taken from point to point. So he knows that, look, this thing is not right. And he's saying, let us have this Ruga settlement where headsmen can come bring their cows. I went to Dansoshia Forest, where he has a Ruga facility. With that, in that forest, you have the Fulani herdsmen. They don't need to go down south and suffering themselves. All that they need, the most important thing that they need, water and food, pasture for their cow. They are there.
After some time, they will start even milk dairy.
Yes, they've already created a section like that. And then government will help with artificial insemination. Ganduje has sent people abroad to go and learn how to do artificial insemination so that the rate of production can improve through this artificial insemination. Because if we leave it to them, sometimes all kinds of problems happen and the cows don't procreate the way you expect. But within artificial insemination, rate of production is guaranteed to improve. So if a governor can go to this length, and he's saying that even in Fagore Forest is going to set up another Ruga facility, just like Dansoshia. And even the Islamic Bank is assisting now. So this is the way to go. Remember Dr. Saleh Momale, one of the most brilliant academics from northern Nigeria, who has been talking about this modern grazing style. We brought him on this show, and he too said this is the way to go. It's only a few ignorant people who are trying to cause division between us, who are saying, no, it has to be this way, it has to be this way. You will make more money. The issues of friction between farmers will end because they will all be on the same location. Cattle rustling itself will end because you now have police facility within the Ruga facility. Not that you are going down south and people will be stealing your cattle. So it's one of the things that the governor said, and I am happy that it came up again. We have to find a way to improve and modernize pastoral farming in our country. It will benefit everybody, and even greater peace will be guaranteed.
No, for Governor Sanwo-Olu, he went there with his own problem, because it has been the issue of Apapa is like an intractable problem. It has been there on and on. The federal government took over it. Lagos State has taken over now. We're still not getting results because the situation is we'll still have the same gridlock in that axis. Now saying that, look, this does not have to be the only ports in Nigeria.
Yeah, I agree, but the only thing that can solve, one of the things that can solve the Apapa gridlock is for us to move goods through the rail system.
How about other ports?
By the time, you see, because part of the problem with the other ports, you see, because most of the ports that we have in the east, apart from One port, they are not deep channel ports that can take a lot of big vessels.
Okay. And that's why they are saying that.
Yes, that's
they are saying we should encourage, the government should encourage new ports,
Yes.
that jobs will be created and all.
Yes, there's a need to create it, yes.
Look at Ondo State, for example.
Yes.
The deepest part of the Atlantic in West Africa is in Ondo State.
Yeah.
And the governor wants to create a port. If you create a port in that, Lokola, you will people coming all the way from the east to Lagos. They won't have to get to Lagos.
That's,
You know, they won't have to get
And that's why they should create ports in the southern axis. For
We
example,
have more than 23 ports in this country.
Yes, yeah, but because
Some countries
right now,
don't have more than one.
Yes, but the problem with those ports
abandoned.
is that they have to channelize those waterways, because the problem is that for example, there is a port in Ikorodu. If you know those who live in Ikorodu, but if you see that it's just a container port, because if you look at the bridges, by the time they were building those bridges, you understand, it is not easy for any ship to move from Apapa Port to Ikorodu Port, because there are bridges that have the height of the bridge will not allow the ship to be able to go. So the only thing you can do is just to turn it into a container port. So what we need to do is to build ports that can take ocean vessels, maybe in Port Harcourt, maybe in Warri, maybe in Ondo. You understand? When they do that, it will now, ships can go to those places. You understand? They start their cargo, and then you can now take them to that area. So instead of somebody who wants to import from Port Harcourt or from Onitsha or from Asaba, you understand? Instead of coming to Lagos to come and now truck it to that area, they can just do it from that side. Because there's a new port in Onitsha. It has not been able to do anything. Because, like I said, because it's not only for you to have a port. The depth of that water is important. If not, big ships will not be able. Even in Apapa Port, there are a lot of ships that cannot berth in Apapa Port. They used to berth they use barges to be able to move their goods to Apapa Port. So those are the things. We need to build new ports that are able to take those things.
This problem is a big problem to the Lagos State government. Even our infrastructure, the trucks that they go through those the bridges we have in that axis, and even our roads, the pressure that when you have a central port and this Apapa, that's where everybody from the country, and when they want to even lift a fuel across the country, that's even their depot too.
I once suggested on this program that tankers from all over Nigeria don't have to come to Lagos. You can say okay. You can say okay, from the south and southeast, go to Warri, go and lift your petrol from there.
Sabotage will make it difficult.
You can also identify another area, maybe on airport, for example. Let some other just decongest the Lagos area. But we have not invested in that area. There's no big deal in turning those ports to deep sea ports. You need to dredge. Yes, it's capital intensive, but dredge this port so that we can at least create new economies in all of those areas. That's what the governors are suggesting. And there are countries of the world where they have just one port, and that is the mainstay of the economy. That's where they get all their money, and the ports are run efficiently. In our own case, to even achieve a full automation of our ports, we can't do it. Ports around us, Ghana and the rest of they are more efficient than us. People would rather pass their goods through. They would rather pass their goods through the ports of our neighbors, including Benin Republic, a small country. Because you never can tell what will happen here. You pay demurrage, your goods will be, you can't get your goods out on time. So a lot of things, and the tankers, because of corruption, will not be able to solve this problem, this gridlock. We should be able to solve this gridlock.
Okay, I have a caller. Okay. Prince Ogunwala is calling us from Owo. I think Owo in Ondo State.
Yes. Good evening to you, a journalist Hangout.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm Prince Ogunwala, Olatubosun Centerstone. I'm calling from a community in our local government area of Ondo State. Okay. Kudos to your analysis there. Without missing word, the Asaba court or meeting that combined all the 17 South governors together yesterday, I think will go a long way in the history of Nigeria as one of the best things that has come in recent time. I think this forum or that meeting came at a time when various stakeholders across ethnic and tribal religious lines are clamoring for a national engagement and dialogue to discuss the common challenges we have at hand, most especially this marriage of insecurity, the structural imbalance in governance, as well as all this political against bedeviling our political space. Having come up with those far-reaching recommendations, I think the onus now lies on the federal government or the presidency to listen to the common voice of Nigerians through their elected representatives like this forum. And I think this is the actual time we must discuss and dialogue to determine the desirability or otherwise of our coming and living together as a common entity. This issue of open grazing and restructuring should be given an urgent attention. And with that, I believe this issue of insecurity will be put at bay, and if the country can be restructured.
Thank you, Prince Ogumola. And Mayor, one other thing that they said was a national dialogue, but over and over again, this administration, they've said that look, there's no need to call a national dialogue, that we have our representatives in the National Assembly, that whatever we want to do, whatever restructuring, whatever we want to effect the change, that the best avenue is to route it through the National Assembly.
I agree absolutely.
Okay.
Because the reason for that is that we have always said, when we have issues in Nigeria, we will say, let us sit down and talk. And then we will sit down, there will be an assembly, they will come out with communique, they will give it to the government will put it somewhere, and they will not execute it.
Like the recent one we had under Goodluck Jonathan.
The one we had under Goodluck Jonathan came up with a lot of beautiful ideas.
Fantastic.
This government have not executed it. So for us to, I know that what the governors are saying is that we have problems. There's need for us to sit down and talk. I agree. But I don't believe that we should just form another jamboree and talk and we'll not have anything out of it. Instead, let our National Assembly become more effective than this just going there to talk and pass resolutions and do that. We can sit down and realize that we know what the problems are. The governors of that's why they said they were going to interface
through our representatives.
That they're going to interface with our representatives in the National Assembly. We know what the problems are. So I don't see, for example, why the National Assembly cannot come out and agree that look, there is need for state police. Let us do something about it and amend this constitution. Okay. It can be done. Wow. You understand? It can be done. Or the National Assembly will say, okay, these are the things that we're going to do, or these are the problems that we have, these are the things that we needed to do, and they will come out and make sure. But when you get there, because policy. So when we call people again to come and sit down and collect allowances and make a lot of noise, and then they will come up with a solution, and somebody will just put that solution somewhere.
Do you agree with Mayor Akinpelu that whatever we want to say, we should route it through this assembly? But a lot of Nigerians will say, no, we need to just, across our ethnic divide, across the country, we need some leaders of thought to come together to sit down, fashion out a new constitution, and restructure the country.
One of the reasons the 1999 constitution is as wishy-washy as it is the fact that some individuals sat down and wrote it for us. It's not a constitution that representatives of the Nigerian people wrote. 1979 constitution, there was a constitutional conference. People were elected into the constitutional conference, constitutional assembly, constituent assembly, that's what it was called, the constituent assembly, and they drafted the constitution. When you look at the 1979 constitution and compare to 1999, the difference is like night and day. It is far better. So some of the lacuna in this 1999 is because they hurriedly put it together Yeah, they just got a few people, you know, one of them is a sitting governor now. They just got them together and write the thing, you know. So if the Nigerian
President Obasanjo did not even see till the day of inauguration.
Many people said they did not see a copy of it. Many people who eventually were part of decision makers in the government, they didn't see it. And I think it was deliberate so that people should not see it.
So that they won't complain.
You know, so that they can get away with some of the things that they put there, you know, that are anti-people. Now, I will never oppose a constitutional conference or a national dialogue. But what we can do is to give it legal backing. One of the reasons that of Jonathan did not really see the light of day was because he didn't get legal backing. Look at the way the South Africans took the Truth Commission seriously. You cannot go there and say rubbish. And if they send for you, you must show up. You must show up because they were looking for national healing. And it's a rainbow nation. All kinds of people you know, in that nation, they have been killing each other for years. So they saw an opportunity to talk about the problems and achieve true and final, resolution of the issues dividing the country. You know? So if we are to have something like that, then it should have legal backing. If it doesn't have legal backing, people will take it lightly. A lot of
the next person must implement
that legal backing. Look, it will be binding. Whatever they agree on will be binding.
Even the issue of TSA was one of the products of the Jonathan CONFAB.
Yes, CONFAB, yes.
The issue of school feeding was one of the recommendations of the Jonathan CONFAB. It's not as if ideas didn't come out of it. We have cherry-picked some of those ideas. We are implementing some of those ideas. But we refuse to accept it. Yes, you know. So for reasons best known to us. Now, we only support this kind of national dialogue if it will have legal backing, whereby the decisions reached will be binding on the government and the people. But to simply go there and spend so much money as we did the last time, and at the end of the day, nobody will implement those things, is wrong. We have seen too that even at the level of National Assembly, things that Nigerians want. You had how, or maybe you saw one interview where one of the, I think it's Hope Uzodinma, the governor of Imo State, was saying, see, he was part of the Senate, and the Senate wanted state police. They started talking about it, but it didn't fly. Individuals will go through the National Assembly and frustrate national desires that people have for the growth and development of our nation. Look at even the issue of autonomy for local councils. See how people, governors using assembly members to try to make sure that it does not work. So I don't have implicit faith in the National Assembly to the point that, oh, we see them as our representatives, therefore anything we want, we must take it there. What if we take it there and some power people impress it upon them to not let it work? They've been doing that for some time.
All right. Moving on now, it appears we may have to put on our armor and brace up for another tougher battle against COVID-19. The strain, which is currently ravaging India, has been found in Nigeria. Bad news. It was detected by the African Center of Excellence for Genomics and Infectious Diseases at the Redeemers University in Osun State 3 weeks ago and has been communicated to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC. Mayor, this is scary. This is scary.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think I agree that we have to be on our toes. I agree that we have to be careful and learn from other experiences. But it's not that because there is a strain in India, you understand, we will now use that as, because NCDC, I think, I'm not, no, it doesn't matter. I will tell you why. That strain has been in different countries. The South African strain has been in 23 African countries. You understand? It is not the strain entering your country because of movement of people. Because of movement of people, the strain will move around. It is how you manage the strain. The difference, if you look at UK is opening up. America is opening up because things are going down. The problem they have in India, they brought it on themselves. How did they bring it on themselves? Initially, by January this year, India was very low. The cases we have in India was quite low. Then the leadership in India showed crass irresponsibility by not one, they did not have any, that's the number one producer of vaccines in the world for people. They produce it for other people. They didn't bother about having a vaccination program in their own country. That is one. Two, they allow, because of religious sentiments, they allow people to do their festival. They have these Hindu festivals that they do in India where millions of people come together. Instead of somebody to say, look, we have COVID-19, there are protocols, we are not going to allow. In China, there is this festival too. They have one festival like that everybody will travel from all over China to their respective villages. Government convinced people and discouraged them from doing so. But in India, because of religious activities, the government allowed them to do the festival. And that is what turned to this super spread. Because millions of people came together, and it has to do with mixing with people and dancing and all that.
People are dying
so now the thing that went out of their hands. But if you look at it, apart from India and Brazil, that has another president who for a long time was living in denial. And now Turkey that is an upsurge in Turkey, and they now on lockdown. Every other country is opening up. Every other country in the world is opening up. So what is important for us is to acknowledge that, look, we are not out of the woods yet. Let us because if you look at NCDC, the people, something has moved to about 30, 40 without recording any death in recent times. And at the time, if you remember during the second wave, it got to about 2,000, 1,800 on a daily basis. But now you have only 30, 40. So that's what I'm saying, that it's not scary, that it's not as bad as it looks. No, I don't think so.
Do you agree with me? That because this strain now, because we can't confirm it, but they are saying that the vaccination might not even address this particular strain.
No, the vaccination will not address those new strains, because some of those vaccines were ready even before
they started.
Before the new strains came out. Even the South African strain, the Britons had already warned that they were not sure that the vaccine will address it, because some of the symptoms are completely new, not similar to what we have been experiencing. For example, this Indian strain now, it is suspected that it is airborne, because the rate of infection is extremely high. It's not what we had seen before. And then it does not discriminate to say, okay, you have an underlying ailment, this and that, you may not. No.
Anybody.
It's ready to take your life. And more young people are even contracting it, unlike the COVID-19 that we are used to. It's far more dangerous, far more aggressive. So all that we can do is appeal to the authorities here to ensure that, look, that we must not relax. We must continue to do what we are doing. Look at, by now people will expect that, at least even in UK, let people start watching games and all that. But they've been, for over a year, they've been very careful not to just, irresponsibly open up. They've been very careful. They've managed it well. I was reading something about Canada. There are many parts of Canada now where this disease is running riot. So they are now saying, look, they should have learned from the Britons and the Americans, because when you open up too early, you leave yourself wide open for a soccer punch, and that's what they are experiencing in many parts of Canada now. Is a problem.
COVID.
But you can see that the Britons see how much they like football. People buying season tickets and all that, but they can't watch games. But they are patient.
There's going to be 10,000 people.
That's one third of the.
That's more than 1 year after.
Yes, 1 year after.
So that's the point that we are making. If they had hurriedly opened up because clubs are losing money.
Yes, I agree with that.
Clubs are losing money
because they opened up.
But in spite of that, they are not opening up.
Yes, they opened up in
you know, they opened up and then quickly
went back.
Yes, I remember.
Britain opened up.
They opened up in India.
Britain opened up. There was a time that, in terms of death rate, Britain was next to America. At the time, death rate from this disease, they opened up too early, but they quickly shut down again, just so that they can bring the thing under check. And even their own prime minister too was infected.
I think that's what the federal Nigerian government, that's what they are doing.
No, we just have to, you see, my appeal is to those pastors.
Yes.
Telling people that no, this thing does not exist, is for for white people. They don't have hospitals. They don't have ventilators. They don't have ICUs where they can take people to when people get infected. Their faith, let them keep their faith to themselves.
That's don't go around. Written a book. You just written a book on COVID.
And some gullible people. This is science. This is
science. This is not faith.
Let them keep their faith to them. It's good to have faith. Let them keep the faith to themselves. Let them stop discouraging people from taking the vaccine or saying this thing is wrong, this and that. They don't have oxygen plants.
They don't.
These pastors don't have oxygen plants where they can, when there's a problem, because look at this new strain now. It makes it extremely difficult for you to breathe without assistance.
This one does not
assisted.
You don't have to have underlying factor.
No, that's why it's dangerous. If we had time, apparently we didn't have time today. If we have time, I'll be able to talk about why people dread it so much. It's in the past that people have said, it's not airborne. The strain that they have in India, people, they are still studying it, but they have every reason to believe now that it is airborne. Because the rate of spread...
The people agree that it's airborne,
the rate of spread is extremely remarkable. And that's why it's killing people.
You know why I think that is so?
More than 250-something thousand people dead now.
I think why that is so? It's because of their population. India is over 1 billion people. You understand? And in that festival that I told you, about 1 million people will come together, dancing and using
but
colors.
It's a third world country.
They don't
even have the infrastructure support when you have a full-blown. That's why they are dying like chicken.
They produce vaccination. They produce this vaccination.
They just wanted to start. They
will never have enough. They will never even have enough.
They didn't even vaccinate the people. So that's what I'm saying. That they were careless. Their leadership were careless.
Their population, America has only been able to vaccinate 1/3 of its population. And American population, you can't even compare to that of India. India is about 1 billion people.
Yeah, over 1 billion, 1.3 billion people, about 1.2, 1.3 billion people.
So with America, I think America is around 300 million. 300 million.
Yes, 300 and something. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Akupolo. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you. And the master himself, Babajide Kolade. Thank you. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. And don't forget to join us on Journalist Hangout from 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. on Sunday. And we're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzuba. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.